Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Learning Channel, where learning English is easy and fun. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mike.
Hi, Mike. It's so nice to see you again. How have you been?
Hey, Sarah. I've been doing well. Thanks for asking. Just keeping busy with work and family life. You know how it is. How about you? How's college going?
College is going great, though I have to say, my schedule has been pretty crazy lately. I'm trying to balance my studies with my part-time job at the bookstore. Speaking of which, I'm really curious about how you manage your daily routine. Being a marketing manager and having a family must be challenging.
Oh, it definitely is. But you know what they say, practice makes perfect. I've developed a pretty solid routine over the years. Would you like to hear about it? Maybe we can compare our daily schedules.
Absolutely. I'd love to learn some tips. I feel like I'm always running around like a headless chicken these days.
I know that feeling all too well. Well, let me start from the beginning. My alarm goes off at 5:30 a.m. every morning. I know it sounds early, but I've found that getting up before everyone else gives me some precious quiet time.
Wow, 5:30 a.m.? That's incredibly early. I usually struggle to get up at 7 a.m. What do you do first thing in the morning?
The first thing I do is make my bed. It might sound silly, but it gives me a sense of accomplishment right away. Then I head straight to the kitchen to make a strong cup of coffee. I can't function without my morning caffeine.
I totally understand. Coffee is like fuel for me too. Do you eat breakfast right away?
Not immediately. I usually take my coffee and sit on the back porch for about 15 minutes. It's my meditation time, I suppose. I just sit there, drink my coffee, and watch the sunrise. It helps me clear my mind and prepare for the day ahead.
That sounds so peaceful. I wish I had that kind of self-discipline. I usually grab my phone first thing and start scrolling through social media. It's a terrible habit, I know.
We all have our habits. The key is to gradually replace the ones that don't serve us well. After my quiet time, I go back inside and prepare breakfast. Nothing fancy, usually oatmeal with fresh fruit or scrambled eggs with toast.
Do you eat alone or does your family join you?
It depends on the day. My wife, Linda, is not much of a morning person. She prefers to sleep in until about 7 a.m. Our kids, Emma and Jake, have to be up by 6:45 a.m. for school, so sometimes they join me for the tail end of breakfast.
How old are your children?
Emma is 12 and Jake is 9. They're at that age where getting them ready for school can be quite an adventure. Emma is pretty independent now, but Jake still needs help with organizing his backpack and making sure he has everything he needs.
That must keep you on your toes. What time do you leave for work?
I aim to leave the house by 7:30 a.m. My commute is about 30 minutes by car, so I usually arrive at the office around 8 a.m. I like to get there early because the office is quieter and I can tackle my most important tasks when my mind is fresh.
That's smart. I've noticed I'm much more productive in the morning too. What does a typical workday look like for you?
Well, the first thing I do when I get to the office is check my emails and prioritize my tasks for the day. I usually have back-to-back meetings from 9 a.m. until about 11:30 a.m. These might be client presentations, team meetings, or strategy sessions with my boss.
That sounds intense. Do you get a proper lunch break?
I try to. I usually take lunch around 12:30 p.m. Sometimes I eat at my desk if I'm swamped with work, but I make an effort to step away from my computer and go to the cafeteria or even take a short walk outside. Fresh air does wonders for your productivity in the afternoon.
I should probably start doing that. I tend to eat lunch while studying or working, which isn't very relaxing. What time do you finish work?
My official hours are until 5 p.m., but honestly, it varies depending on the workload. On busy days, I might stay until 6 or 6:30 p.m. But I try my best to stick to regular hours because family time is really important to me.
That's admirable. How do you unwind after work?
The drive home actually helps me transition from work mode to family mode. I usually listen to podcasts or music. It helps me decompress. When I get home around 6 p.m., the kids are usually doing homework and Linda is preparing dinner.
Do you help with dinner preparation?
Absolutely. Linda and I share cooking duties. If she's had a particularly busy day, I'll take over completely. We've found that cooking together is actually quite relaxing and gives us a chance to catch up on each other's day.
That sounds lovely. What about after dinner?
After dinner, we usually spend time as a family. Sometimes we watch a movie together, play board games, or just sit around talking about our day. The kids have to finish any remaining homework, and we try to have them in bed by 9 p.m. on school nights.
And what about your evening routine?
Once the kids are settled, Linda and I usually have some time to ourselves. We might watch a TV show, read, or just talk. I try to avoid work emails after 8 p.m. That's our rule for maintaining work-life balance. I'm usually in bed by 10:30 p.m. because, well, 5:30 a.m. comes pretty quickly.
Your routine sounds so organized and balanced. I'm impressed. Now I feel a bit embarrassed to share mine. It's much more chaotic.
Don't be embarrassed. Everyone's situation is different. I'd love to hear about your routine. I'm sure there are things I could learn from you too.
Well, okay. Here goes nothing. As I mentioned, I usually wake up around 7 a.m., though I'll be honest, it's often closer to 7:15 a.m. because I hit the snooze button a few times.
The snooze button is a dangerous temptation. I had to put my alarm clock across the room to break that habit.
That's actually a great idea. I should try that. Anyway, the first thing I do is check my phone. I know. It's not the best habit. I check messages, social media, the weather, you name it. Before I know it, 20 minutes have passed.
We all do it. The phone has become like an extension of ourselves, hasn't it?
Exactly. After that, I usually rush to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and take a quick shower. I'm not much of a breakfast person, so I usually just grab a piece of toast or a banana and a cup of coffee to go.
Do you make your coffee at home or do you buy it on campus?
I make it at home because it's so much cheaper. Being a student means watching every penny. I invested in a decent coffee maker at the beginning of the semester, and it's already paid for itself.
Smart thinking. What time do your classes usually start?
It depends on the day. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, my first class starts at 9 a.m. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't start until 11 a.m., which is nice because I can sleep in a bit.
What's your major again?
I'm studying English literature with a minor in creative writing. I absolutely love it, though some people question whether it's practical, but I believe following your passion is important, you know?
I completely agree. Life's too short to spend it doing something you don't enjoy. What does a typical class day look like for you?
Well, on my busy days, I have classes from 9 a.m. until about 3 p.m. with breaks in between. I usually pack lunch and eat on campus. The student cafeteria isn't gourmet, but it's convenient and affordable.
Do you have a favorite spot to study on campus?
Oh, yes. There's this beautiful corner in the main library on the 3rd floor. It has these huge windows that overlook the campus courtyard. The natural light is perfect for reading, and it's usually quiet. I probably spend 3 to 4 hours there every day.
That sounds like an ideal study environment. What about your part-time job? How does that fit into your schedule?
I work at the campus bookstore 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. My shifts are usually from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays. It's perfect because it doesn't conflict with my classes.
How do you find working in a bookstore? It must be like paradise for an English literature student.
You'd think so, but it's actually more about selling textbooks, university merchandise, and school supplies than literature. Though I do get a nice employee discount on books, which is fantastic for someone who's always buying novels.
Every little bit helps when you're a student. What do you do after work on your work days?
Usually, I'm pretty tired after work, so I'll grab dinner. Sometimes it's just a sandwich or leftover pasta. Then I try to do some homework or reading for my classes. I'm definitely not as organized as you are.
With meal planning, it's something I learned out of necessity. With a family, you can't really wing it every night. But as a single student, you have more flexibility.
That's true. What about weekends? Do you have any special weekend routines?
Weekends are a bit more relaxed, but we still try to maintain some structure. Saturday mornings are usually for family activities. We might go to the park, visit the farmer's market, or work in the garden together. Saturday afternoons are often for household chores and errands.
Do your kids help with chores?
We're trying to teach them responsibility. So, yes, they have age-appropriate chores.
Emma empties the dishwasher and helps with laundry folding. Jake is responsible for keeping his room tidy and feeding our cat Whiskers.
That's great that you're teaching them responsibility early. What about Sundays?
Sundays are our family day. We often sleep in a bit later until about 7 a.m., which feels luxurious. We make a big breakfast together, maybe pancakes or French toast. Then we might go for a hike, visit Linda's parents, or just relax at home.
That sounds wonderful. I have to admit, my weekends are pretty different. On Saturdays when I work, that takes up most of my day. But on Sundays, I try to do meal prep for the week, catch up on laundry, and get ahead on reading assignments.
Meal prep is excellent. What kind of meals do you typically prepare?
Nothing too fancy. Usually pasta, salad, sandwiches, or simple stir fries that I can reheat throughout the week. I'm not much of a cook yet, but I'm learning. My mom has been texting me recipes and cooking tips.
That's sweet of her. Cooking is definitely a valuable life skill. Do you have any hobbies or activities outside of school and work?
I love reading, obviously, but I also enjoy creative writing. I'm actually working on a short story collection from my senior project. I also try to go for runs around campus a few times a week. It helps me clear my head and stay in shape.
Running is great exercise. I used to run regularly, but these days I'm lucky if I can squeeze in a workout twice a week. Do you run alone or with friends?
Usually alone. I find it meditative and I can go at my own pace. Sometimes I listen to audiobooks or podcasts while running. It's like multitasking, exercise and education.
You know, Sarah, hearing about your routine makes me realize how much I miss the flexibility of being a student. There's something appealing about having different schedules throughout the week.
Really? I sometimes feel envious of your structured routine. It seems so stable and predictable. I feel like I'm constantly adjusting and trying to fit everything in.
I think both lifestyles have their advantages. The structure helps me manage family and work responsibilities, but sometimes I miss the spontaneity and freedom to explore new interests.
That's an interesting perspective. What do you think are the biggest challenges in your current routine?
Honestly, finding time for myself is probably the biggest challenge. Between work and family obligations, I sometimes feel like I lose sight of my personal goals and interests. I used to love photography, for example, but I haven't picked up my camera in months.
Why don't you try to incorporate photography into your family time? Maybe weekend photo walks with the kids.
That's actually a brilliant idea. The kids would probably love that, and it would be a great way to document our family memories while pursuing my hobby.
See, sometimes an outside perspective helps. What advice would you give me about creating more structure in my routine?
Well, I think you're doing better than you give yourself credit for. But if I had to suggest something, I'd say try to establish some consistent wake up and bedtime routines. Even small changes can make a big difference.
You're probably right. I've been thinking about starting a morning routine that doesn't involve immediately grabbing my phone. Maybe I could try your approach of having quiet time with coffee.
That could work well for you. You could even combine it with some light reading or journaling since you love writing.
Oh, I love that idea. I could keep a morning journal where I write about my goals for the day or reflect on what I read the night before.
Exactly. And speaking of reading, what are you reading currently?
I'm reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo for pleasure and Pride and Prejudice for my Victorian literature class. What about you? Do you have time for recreational reading?
I mostly listen to audiobooks during my commute. Right now, I'm listening to a business book called Atomic Habits. It's all about building good habits and breaking bad ones. Very relevant to our conversation today.
That sounds fascinating. I should check that out. Do you think audiobooks count as real reading?
Absolutely. Your brain is processing the same information, just through a different sense. Plus, it's a great way to make use of time that would otherwise be unproductive, like commuting or exercising.
I never thought of it that way. I could listen to audiobooks while running. That would help me get through more of the books on my reading list.
There you go. It's all about finding creative ways to fit your interests into your existing routine.
This conversation has been so helpful. I'm starting to see that I don't need to completely overhaul my life, just make small adjustments here and there.
That's exactly right. Small, consistent changes tend to be more sustainable than dramatic overhauls. What's one small change you think you could start with this week?
I think I'll try putting my phone in another room overnight and creating a simple morning routine. Maybe 15 minutes of quiet time with coffee and journaling before I start my day.
That sounds perfect. And what about you asking me for advice has made me realize I should schedule some time for photography again. Maybe I'll plan a family photo walk this weekend.
I love that. You should definitely do it. It's funny how talking about our routines has helped us both identify areas for improvement.
It really has. Sometimes we get so caught up in our daily patterns that we forget to step back and evaluate whether they're serving us well.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to remember that routines should be flexible and adaptable to different life phases.
Absolutely. My routine now is completely different from what it was when I was single, and I'm sure it will evolve again as the kids get older and become more independent.
And mine will probably change dramatically once I graduate and start working full time. But I guess the key is to always be intentional about how we spend our time.
Well said. Time is our most valuable resource, and creating routines that align with our values and goals is one of the best investments we can make.
This has been such an enlightening conversation, Speaker B. Thank you for sharing your routine and for all the great advice.
Thank you too, Speaker One. Your perspective has been refreshing, and I'm excited to make some changes to my own routine. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Likewise, maybe we should check in with each other in a few weeks to see how our new routines are working out.
I'd love that. It's always helpful to have someone to be accountable to when you're trying to build new habits.
Perfect. Well, I should probably head back to campus for my afternoon class. Thanks again for the coffee and conversation.
My pleasure. Good luck with your classes, and remember, small changes, big results.
I'll remember that. See you soon, Mike.
Take care, Sarah.